I'm Adam Bergman, a tax attorney, multimillionaire, and 25-year investor. And today, I'm breaking down exactly why the standard buy and hold investment strategy is failing most Americans and exactly what the smartest investors are doing instead. Buy and hold investing is a strategy that a lot of investors have started with. Investors like Warren Buffett have talked about this buy and hold strategy for decades. But the truth is, we live now in a world where the wealth gap gets bigger and bigger every day, and the rich are investing in a way to take advantage of it. There's another war. Inflation is here to stay, and our country is in so much debt, the IRS is barely collecting enough income tax to pay the interest on it. I do want to set the record straight that I don't think buy and hold is wrong outright, but I think it focuses on the wrong type of assets. The first problem with the buy and hold model is that it focuses on traditional assets in the public market, like stocks, ETFs, and mutual funds. But that's not enough to diversify your portfolio. I can understand the strategy for certain types of investments. I think buying and holding a fund that tracks the S&P 500 is good for your long-term wealth, especially if you're not actively tracking stocks and companies. But if you're just picking stocks to buy and hold long-term, you better be damn good, because a good stock today might be a bad stock tomorrow. Another issue is that this strategy also assumes you're going to know the right timing. You are always buying low and selling high, and that just doesn't happen. People tend to abandon the strategy at the worst time when the news is people panicking, which then causes you to sell when it's low and then buy when the price is high. Another risk is inflation. It's here and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Inflation challenges the buy and hold strategy primarily because it erodes real return, meaning your money's future purchasing power shrinks, even if your account balance grows. I cover my outlook on inflation and why I believe it's not going anywhere in this video. It's linked in the description. The next risk is that the classic buy and hold strategies often include a fixed percentage of bonds, usually a 60-40 split. However, rising inflation typically forces central banks to keep interest rates higher for longer, which causes bond prices to fall. In the current 2026 environment, long-duration bonds are viewed as particularly risky because their fixed interest payments lose value as the cost of living climbs. For example, if you bought a 30-year bond in 2020, there was minimal inflation. But after COVID, inflation has exploded. It's driving up prices and driving down your buying power. So that 30-year bond you bought in 2020 and are still holding, it's not going to have a good rate of return because of inflation. The investors building real wealth today aren't just buying and holding stocks and hoping for the best. They're finding ways to beat inflation directly. I'll get into that in a bit. But there are a few more risks you should know about. Let's talk about de-dollarization. De-dollarization is not good, and I hope we don't get into a de-dollarization position. We live in America. It helps us to have a strong US dollar. We want the United States to have the strongest currency in the world. We have the most buying power. That helps us because we own dollars. De-dollarization is a risk where countries like the BRICS countries, China, Brazil, Iran, and a few others, try to move away from using the US dollar for international trade, finance, and central bank reserves. There's also been moments in the Middle East or in countries that are competitive with the US to de-dollarize and have more transactions being done in other currencies like the yen or a BRICS type currency. That's not good. And that's something the US government is going to fight. We just saw what happened with the UAE. They just walked out of OPEC. BRICS never really materialized or created a currency. But the ultimate risk with de-dollarization is that a dollar today will be worth less than a dollar tomorrow if the US is weaker. Now, on the flip side, some people actually like a weak US dollar. President Trump actually wants a weak US dollar, which I disagree with. Because if you're an export company, you want a weak US dollar, so that means foreign parties can buy your product cheaper. China is trying to keep their yen as weak as possible in relative terms. I don't love weak dollars. I don't think America should be an export-based economy. I think, in reality, we're an import and service-based economy. So I disagree with the president on tariffs and especially on weakening the US dollar. The risk is if you own a lot of security tied into US dollars and US economy, US corporations can see their valuations diminish if the US dollar was weakened. A major point of the buy and hold strategy focuses on using large pool investment funds. These pooled funds, like mutual funds, are supposed to reduce risk compared to owning individual stocks. But is it actually? A mutual fund is a financial product which pools money from investors to purchase a diversified portfolio of securities. A mutual fund could be made up of 20 stocks, 100 stocks, or even 1,000 stocks. So it's really a great way to get exposure to many different securities by buying one fund. But there are three big problems when it comes to mutual funds. First, there are the fees. Mutual funds are a lot worse than ETFs or exchange-traded funds when it comes to fees. Mutual funds can have account maintenance fees, advisory fees, redemption fees, even marketing fees. Those fees are going to add up over time and eat into your returns to the tune of tens of thousands or even maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars. Because those mutual fund fees are going to take out money that could have compounded over time. And that's before you even think about inflation, which is really a fee on everything because you're going to have less money from a real dollar standpoint than you would in a different investment. Another problem is that you lack control over your investments with a mutual fund. There are mutual fund managers and they're the ones deciding what to buy and sell. So you're trusting whoever's managing the mutual fund to make sure that the fund is well balanced. Data shows that the majority of actively managed funds actually underperform their passive index tracking counterparts like ETFs. And I wasn't surprised to hear that in 2025, only 38% of actively managed funds outperformed. That's crazy. But here's the biggest problem. Whether you're investing in mutual funds or ETFs, you're not really diversified. You're basically buying between 7 and 10 stocks, like Meta, Nvidia, Apple, Google, and a few other big names have made up most of the growth in the stock market in the last few years. So if one or two of the Magnificent Seven have bad earnings, or if there's an AI bubble that can burst, it can tank the whole market. That's why my millionaire and billionaire clients and myself are investing in alternative assets like real estate, gold, crypto, and private equity to protect and grow my wealth in today's world. The truth is, the smartest investors aren't abandoning the buy and hold strategy. They're just evolving it. So what separates an average investor from a smart investor comes down to one thing: diversification. True diversification into assets that protect your gains from inflation and can generate profit above the rate of return that you can get in the stock market. My personal investment strategy looks different from the traditional buy and hold strategy. My wealthy clients and I follow the new 60-40 strategy when it comes to investing for our retirements. If you watch my videos before, you know I am a huge fan of the new 60-40. The old 60-40 strategy was 60% stocks and 40% bonds and fixed income. The new 60-40 is 60% alternative assets, 40% in stocks and fixed income. The ultra-rich are doing this. Harvard, Yale, they follow it. And I'm doing it. And so are my wealthy clients at IRA Financial. Right now, Americans are putting 100%, 99% of their retirement in traditional assets, when it should be around 40%, when the other 60% in alternative assets that generate growth to protect you from inflation, give you flexibility, and diversify your portfolio. In an upcoming video, I'll break down this new 60-40 investment strategy more in depth. So make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. When I look at my client base, they're from different countries, different backgrounds, but they all have one thing in common. They understand the power of diversification. Because unfortunately, right now, when you're invested in the public market, you're just buying those 7 or so stocks. But when you supplement those equities with alternative assets like real estate, private equity, gold, and cryptos, that's when you are really able to boost your returns over long periods of time. These alternative assets have always been around, but the average investor hasn't been accessing it. That's because they're historically been limited to certain circles. Money actually stays with money, and deals flow within those networks. If you're not in that world, you simply don't see the opportunities, and they never really materialize for you. But over the last 10 years, and with the help of AI, there's greater access to alternative assets, thankfully. Another way the rich have been protecting their money is by investing in alternative assets in their retirement accounts, so it grows tax-free, and they can withdraw it tax-free. Most investors don't even know you can do this, and it's very frustrating. That's exactly why I founded IRA Financial 16 years ago, to give everyday investors the same control and flexibility the ultra-wealthy have always had through self-directed IRAs and Roth IRAs. That's the only way you can invest in alternatives without major tax implications, which helps you keep more of your wealth. There's another reason why the rich are using the new 60-40. Remember how I talked about inflation and de-dollarization being big risks to the traditional buy and hold model? Well, alternative assets are the best way to hedge against these risks. Gold is the best way to hedge. Surprisingly, Bitcoin is a good way to hedge too, because of its limited supply. Some countries have even talked about having Bitcoin as a kind of reserve. I was an early investor in Bitcoin, and I just started buying physical gold like I discussed in this video. I personally think real estate locally is a great hedge as well, because it's less dependent on international trade and development. So local real estate investments like owning a home that you can rent out, or loans to local real estate developers or businesses could help. Like IRA Financial, we're a US business. All our IRAs are US based. We don't have exposure to fluctuating dollar or a trade war with China. You can learn about the best hard assets to protect your wealth and stay diversified in this video, and learn how to invest in real estate, gold and silver and Bitcoin without ever paying taxes in this playlist. So now, what do? You can start investing in alternative assets now. If you have a job, you're ready to start investing in alternative assets. When it comes to what you can actually invest in, super flexible. There are no hard and fast rules. If you're a real estate person, you don't trust gold, shift that allocation to real estate. Some investors prefer hard money loans. It's all in your control. Also, it's not just what you invest in, it's also where you hold those investments. If you hold those investments in a Roth IRA, you're getting income gains and appreciation, all tax-free. If you're just getting started in alternative assets, you need to avoid the biggest mistake most first-time investors make. You can do it by yourself, but with the way the tax code is written, you're going to run into some hurdles. A tax expert like myself or my team at IRA Financial can take what you do and what you want to do and make your self-directed retirement structure tax efficient, and ultimately generate hundreds of thousands, not millions of dollars of tax-free wealth. So if you're ready to stop leaving money on the table and start building a strategy that actually works, book a free consultation with IRA Financial using the link in the description. We've helped over 30,000 investors move more than $7 billion into tax-free retirement accounts. We are here to help you do the same. The buy and hold investing strategy isn't wrong, but only buying and holding traditional assets is. I'm not sitting here saying you should sell all your stocks, ETFs, or mutual funds and just put all your money in real estate in Mexico. No, I own mutual funds, ETFs, and other traditional assets, but I also own a lot of alternative asset investments like Bitcoin, gold, private investments, and real estate. If you only buy and hold equities, you have too much exposure to the public markets and you're not really diversified. You are putting all your eggs in one basket, and that is bad. You're missing out on real returns, which are only found in alternative assets. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.